Hi, and welcome to lesson 3 of the Bloom Circle. And in this lesson, we'll be looking at career. Let me just share the slides with you. Um, right, there we go. So we'll be having a discussion on. Let me just say a short prayer. I pray that God you'll speak to us, and anyone who is feeling stuck or confused on how to go about their career, I pray that this session will shed some light to them. Those who are in it, I pray that you help them find some clarity on some of the critical decisions they need to make in their career. In Jesus' name, amen. So, what we'll be looking at in this lesson is one will be defining what a career is. We'll look at 4 pillars on career success. This is specifically if you're at a point where you are deciding what career path to take. All right. So, you've probably just finished and you're deciding, or you have already been in school, but you feel this will be for you. Then we have 3 pillars. All right, and then we'll look at how to thrive in your work in the workplace, and also how to navigate office politics. Office politics is something that is hardly talked about, by the way, but it affects people a lot in their career. Okay, so we just get straight into it. One, what career is? A career is a long-term journey of work, skills, and growth in a specific field. A career provides financial stability, gives you a learning opportunity. It is also a way to contribute to society. All right. A career is also, it's good to note that it is more than making money. It is a tool that supports your purpose. Remember, when we were looking at lesson 2 on purpose, we said that a career is a tool that is meant to build or support your purpose. All right. So a career is meant to help you create impact, whether it is a job, whether it is a business, or whether you pursue ministry entirely. Okay. Now, what are the 4 pillars you need to know for you to choose a career that you can thrive in and you can be successful in? One is a career that is a purpose. Now, if you choose a career aligned with your beliefs, if you're a Christian, that will constantly have friction with your values, it is a career that you'll not thrive in. You'll constantly struggle. You'll constantly find yourself questioning yourself. You find yourself struggling with even the people you're working with, because the demands of your boss, the demands of your clients are going against your values. So if you're deciding on a career, make sure it is aligned with your values and purpose. And this doesn't mean that you have to go into a Christian organization. No. Just know that the things you're delivering are things that you can even consume, right? If you feel let me give an example. If you feel taking alcohol is something that is not right, and you wouldn't want anybody to actually, you wouldn't cheer someone taking alcohol, then unless God is blessing you there to have a change, to bring change and life, and the gospel and the good news in an career like that one, then I wouldn't advise you to go there, because you'll find yourself constantly struggling if you take a career path that has to do with alcohol. Maybe you start a bar, maybe you start producing, a brewery institution and all. So I would say have it. That is just an example. If you know gambling is not something you'd want to do, then working with a betting company or starting one would just make things difficult for you along the way, because you'll be looking at people and how they are suffering and struggling, and it would affect you. All right. So have something aligned to your values. You might, whatever career you take, let it have something aligned to your values. Also, your purpose. I said career is supposed to, support your purpose. Just look at the career path you're taking. how will it support your purpose? Is it directly aligned to your purpose, or is it that can support financially? Good example, let me say, someone like a teacher might find their purpose is to equip young people for their lives. So someone who is a teacher and they are aligned, their purpose is and prepare them for days to come. They will be able to have financial stability, yes, but they will also be working in their career path. That is why it is important to, be aware of your purpose. If you have not looked at lesson 2, I would advise you to have a look at it. The other thing you need is passion and interest. Now, I know people don't a lot advocate for passion and interest, but what happens in your career, if it is something you're very passionate about and it is something you find interesting, you have motivation for long term. If you're doing something just for the money and it's not something you like, you might not be able to do it as or so, right? So that is where passion comes in. But if you decide to choose a career path that you're interested in, something you're passionate about, something you can, another thing you look at, if you have been in high school by now, you have an idea of where your strengths are. You find someone who has strength in sciences, someone who has strength in arts. So those skills and strengths advise, all right, on the career path you take. Now, here is where even teachers come along, parents come along, based on the subjects that you have been doing very well or things they have seen you thrive at. Then through that, they can advise you on the best career path. Okay. But even with that, even if you're being advised by your teachers, sometimes they just look at one, the skills and the strengths. They don't see your interest and they don't see your purpose. So listen to their advice and then make a decision. All right. Listen, don't disrespect people. Just listen to what they have to say based on your strengths and skills. You can even go to your teachers and ask them, what do you think I would have career days, and you have people come along. But I've always seen, after I've grown up, when I was in school, of course I didn't think that way, but I've come to realize, because a teacher sees you, a parent sees you for a long time, they are able to advise based on your strengths and skills in a different way than someone who just sees you for 10 minutes, 5 minutes. Okay. But get as much advice as possible when it comes to your skills and strengths. But I also think by now you know where you thrive at. All right. The other thing is financial viability. Is the career path you are desiring to take something that is on demand in the market? Is it something that will solve us a problem in the society? Is it something that, because if it is an opportunity in the market but it doesn't have financial, it will not be able to finance you, right? You'll not get any financial stability along the way. So when you're choosing a career path, look at it. Is it something that is needed in society? Or is it something, a career I will, study for, get skills on, and at the end of the maybe 3 years, 4 years in school, in uni, in college, it is not marketable. I can't get a job. I can't start a business that people can, benefit from. Okay. So that is what I mean by financial viability, because when we're looking at the definition, we said that a career has to have some financial, start getting independent, you'll probably get married, you'll probably have children in the next 10 years or so. So you will need some financial stability. So that is the viability. Is it marketable? Is it something that has potential for growth? Yeah. Can you grow in it? Is it, or is it, you just begin at the beginning level? That is where you might end up staying for the rest of your life. Is it something that you can leverage on and grow? Okay. So those are the 4 key things when you're deciding on a career. Now we look at the action. All right. If you want to succeed in your career path, the career path that you have decided on, one is prepare and focus. And how we prepare is have clear goals. Right now, are you a student or are you a fresh graduate? What are your goals for the next 5 years? Where do you want to, and not just in the next 5 years, where do you want to see yourself in the next 5 years? Where do you want to see yourself in the next 10 years? But you can start with 5 years. You can also start with maybe position, because those goals are the ones that will keep you motivated as you start finding challenges in your career, or and also they'll keep you focused, right? So having goals will help you focus. You'll not be distracted and you'll be more focused on the important things. You'll be able to prioritize instead of going partying. You can start, building on skills. That is where preparation also comes in. Having in demand skills, and something as good as AI nowadays. In the current age, if you're in your 20s, you need AI literacy. You cannot say you're thriving even if you're in university right now. You need some AI literacy. And when it comes to AI, if you're a student, don't use AI to just do your assignments. You just take the assignment you've been given, you dump it on ChatGPT or Gemini, and you print, and that's it. No, use AI to brainstorm, use AI to ask it questions. Otherwise you if you only depend on it to give you, you know answers to projects, and you never think, then it will affect your thinking, right? So get some skills on AI, but also on demand skills. If you are an accountant, if you're studying for accounting, you cannot, right? Or CFA, if you're doing finance, you need such, right? So look at what are the in-demand skills for this career path that I am taking. What are the applicable skills? Even if you're a fresh graduate, you've just started working, you cannot stay at the same level. By the end of 2 years, you cannot just have the same, level of education you had. You need to build on it, build on something. And sometimes you might not even have certification for some courses, but just be equipped, because that will help you to have value. That when you get to a table that has people who are decision makers, you have value and they can see your value. So you have to be well prepared, all right, with having clear goals and being equipped. All right. The next pillar skills by volunteering or starting something. If your desire is to, by the end of the day, to have experience, to have something, if you're doing maybe even catering, you can start doing small for families, for friends, for people. And with that, you're getting experience, because that will help you by the time you're graduating and you want to start your own business. You already have a clientele, you already have some experience on the challenges you might face in the business, and you have learned how to navigate. All right. If you want a job after your graduation, is not the time you start looking for internships. Start from your first year and look for places you can volunteer near your school, or even in your school. You can go and check whether they have internship positions, and with that you'll get experience. In that, by the time you're graduating, you already have 3 years experience. You have, whether it is a business or it is a job. Respect everyone. Respect the way you respect your CEO. Respect the person who is cleaning the offices. Respect your watch, the soldiers at the gate. Respect people, respect your peers, respect your immediate boss the way you would respect the manager up there, right? So respect everyone, treat everyone with respect, talk to everyone respectfully, whether you think they earn more than you or not. All right, whether you think they have a say in your career or not, you're right, in your promotion or not. Respect people, because some of the people you think have no value, especially maybe someone who is cleaning offices, Those people are very, very important because they get to the CEO's office and they'll still clean there. And these CEOs have a way of getting information from people, and that person could have a chance to say a good word or a bad word about you. All right. Also, professionalism. Maintain professionalism. Make sure that your communication is professional, whether it is written or nonverbal. All right. Make sure you are having formal communications. If it is communication, if it is formal, make sure it is on email, it is documented. All right. That is where professionalism also comes in. And when it comes to professionalism also, let me just mention another example. Is, for example, when you're leaving your job, your current job, you're going to another job, make sure you leave the organization professionally, like do a written resignation and hand over. These are the roles I was handling. Hand over. I know as young people you feel like, you just go missing in action. Trust me, if that happens and you ever want, you might not think you will ever need this organization, but things happen. And you might find yourself in a position where you need this organization, or you need this previous boss you worked with, or they have to say a word for you to get to another level, or they are in another organization, didn't even know they got another job organization, and they are in the panel and they see your name and they know how you handled things, you know So just know, when you're leaving an organization, resign. If you're going on leave, don't leave things, all over the place. People are stranded because you have gone on leave for 2 days and you didn't even hand over what you are working on. You didn't communicate you are going to for leave. Simple things, simple things of professionalism. Just learn and then implement. All right. But make sure every communication that is formal, is written, is intangible. How do I put it is well documented. All right. That is where and nonverbal communication should also be professional, so that you don't offend people by the way you are talking. Another thing you need to know is work ethic and time management. When you get to your work, whether it is business or a job, time management is important. Having a to-do list in the morning, what are the things you need to do by the end of the day? Working based on your KPIs. What are the key points of action for you in that role you have been given? And then from there, so that you don't, come through an appraisal after 1 year and you realize what you have been doing is outside what you are being um, appraised on, or what you are being tested on at the end of 1 year, at the end of 6 months. So know what are the expectations from your organization, and then work every single day. Try to make sure you are working towards that. All right. When you have a to-do list, you'll be able to manage time. You'll not have time to go and, gist and gossip and have fun in the organization. And then you find you have wasted 4 hours, 3 hours, 2 hours, wasting time watching movies in the organization, having constant coffees here and there without working. Right. Work ethic is very important. I know people don't believe in working hard, but one thing I have constantly heard from people who have gone ahead of us is, when you work hard, you will be noticeable. All right. Working hard is very important. Going the extra mile is very, very important, so that, just making sure your 8 hours are well delivered. Especially if you're in a job, in a business, you'll definitely go the extra mile because of your clients, but making sure you are putting in the time. If you have said you'll work for 8 hours, in your contract you deliver your 8 hours. And if the tasks you have for the day are not enough to cater for 8 hours, you go to your boss and ask, how can I help? And other departments that are connected to yours, you can always, give a hand here or there. All right. Because that will put you on another level when it comes to growth in your career. Another thing you need to know is, you will make mistakes. Nobody grows in their career without ever doing a mistake. But from the mistakes, don't put yourself down and now say you'll never try again or take risks, but learn from them. That is how you handle. Another thing is be accountable. If you had been given a task, don't start pulling your people all over the place and bringing them and blaming them. If a mistake has happened in your hands, take responsibility and be accountable. Admit that this has happened and I am sorry. I'll make sure this doesn't happen again. All right. Yeah. That is how you handle. You don't start pulling your boss into it. If your boss, comes along to help you, well and good. But you can also go to them for help and tell them, well, this has happened and it's a mistake. How can I handle it? But now, if someone on top of your boss comes and or your immediate supervisor, someone on top of your immediate supervisor comes, you don't start blaming your immediate supervisor. No, you go to them for help. But if it has happened and you are now out there, if they offer to help, well and good, but take accountability. All right. Be responsible, but learn from those mistakes. Also, set clear boundaries. For example, when you're still in your 20s, you can go the extra mile of, working 10, 12 hours. But as you grow, especially when you start having a family and all, make sure you have clear boundaries, that you don't carry work at home, you receive calls within a certain time. Have those boundaries, especially when you grow older, so that you don't find yourself being a workaholic and messing up personal relationships. All right. Have clear boundaries. If you decide to have relationships in the organization, you have friends in the organization, make sure that you maintain professionalism. Have clear boundaries between your personal life and the workplace, so that we are going to look at office politics, but sometimes personal stories are used against people in the organization. So just make sure you are having boundaries. If you decide to have a romantic relationship in the organization, dating someone who you're working with is not a very easy thing, because it changes dynamics. So have it, make sure you are clear on what the organization requires when it comes to relationships, especially romantic relationships. Make sure that you also are clear on what, conflict of interest, what the organization expects of you if you're doing a business related to what you're working on in the organization, or if you have someone, who offers services related to what your organization is offering and it's a family member and it's such. Just be clear on boundaries when it comes to your professional work and your life out there, your family. And you cannot separate them, of course, but you can have boundaries, that when you leave the office, you're now, you know going out there, you're a girlfriend, you're a boyfriend, you're a husband. Once you get married, you're a wife, right? You're a mother. Okay. Just a mother who has a profession, but you've left the profession, the work, the load there, you have left things there to handle the next day, so that you don't carry the baggage of the office to home, or the baggage of your family to the office. So have clear boundaries. Now, how do you navigate office politics? Office politics are very common, but sometimes when you're young and you don't realize it, you might find yourself struggling or stranded or in pain and hurting, just because you didn't understand there is something called office politics. One, get to understand the organizational culture, the things that people do or say that are not necessarily formal. All right. There's a way people behave, and that is why the first days of your job, just observe. Beyond people telling you, oh, that person does this, oh, that person, is bad, or that person is good, or that person, beyond what people will tell you, just sit and watch. You'll get to know, certain cultures. You'll realize there are organizations where all the people, and I've been in, several organizations from the time I was an intern. There are other offices. I remember, like, an intern, there's we would all go for lunch at 1. 1 p.m., the office is closed and we all go for lunch together. That is organizational culture. Of course, with time, for me, it wasn't manageable as an intern with no pay. I had to start carrying my own lunch, but that was an organizational culture. If I was an employee, chances are I would have given into now doing what they do. So we go for lunch together, we'll come back just before 2 to open the office, or we stay inside the office closed until 2 p.m. and we open the office. Now that is culture. If I was an employee in that organization and I would just leave the office open at 1, then it would affect the culture. It's not like it is written on paper that at 1 p.m. the finance office is closed. No, it is just culture, right? So observe, just look at how people behave. There are organizations, there's another organization I was in that leaving the office at 5 p.m. felt like, of course, the workload was huge, but if one moment I left the office at around 6 p.m. or such, and there was sun, and I was feeling awkward because we were used to leaving the office at night. So there's that, unspoken culture. Just observe so that you don't come out as an awkward person. Also build strong relationships and a support system. Relationships in the office, make sure they are professional, but have, a support system. And the support system could be from someone who is outside the organization, but it could also be someone in the organization, someone you trust, someone who is mature, someone you can go to when you're stranded, someone you can go to when you feel stuck. There are people who have, you can have someone who is able to guide you even on personal matters. But make sure you've known them for some time so that you don't share personal matters with maybe a mentor in the office and you find them using that against you. All right. Also, get to learn conflict resolution and how to negotiate, because you'll find yourself having conflicts with your colleagues, your peers. You find yourself having challenges when it comes to decisions, when it comes to perceptions, when it comes to maybe some policies. Maybe you have reports here and there and you're not clashing. Just know how to negotiate and resolve issues without having to carry them forward. All right. So conflict resolution is very, very key in the office to avoid politics or to overcome. Another thing is stay adaptable and be for some time. Just observe. You'll start learning more on people's behaviors. How people talk, you'll learn more from them and how they do things, and you'll know who to avoid, who not to avoid. All right. And then be adaptable. Changes will come. Your boss might change, company policies might change, new technology might come. So instead of, being stuck on this is how we've been doing things and such, be adaptable, because that will help you leverage and help you grow in your career, but it will also help you avoid politics where people, are stuck and they make the organization stay stuck because they don't want to change, right? Also maintain integrity and professional reputation. I've said you'll find gossip where people are saying this person is bad, this person is good. Just make sure you maintain integrity. When people start gossiping other colleagues in your presence, you can find um what do I call it, a wise way to walk away. All right. And avoid such, because these people who are gossiping about someone will with you that you're a person who doesn't entertain certain behaviors, a person who is focused on get to a managerial position before you are 30, before you are 25. Then people will know you for that. People will know you are very focused for your job. Another thing is stay visible. It is very possible to work very hard, to be the most hardworking employee in an organization, but all your work credit is given to someone else. So make sure you are visible. And how we stay visible is not by announcing yourself to your bosses and announcing. No, make sure whatever you're doing, one, your immediate supervisor is aware. All right, your daily tasks, either by copying them on email, just for them to be aware on what you're working on, because that is how, even when you're handling, in case a mistake happens or someone attacks you, your immediate supervisor is aware and they are able to shield you or protect you. But if your supervisor or boss cannot help you, social advances now that you have to take, but in a professional way, take it to the human resource, but not tarnishing someone's name by talking about it with everyone. Take it professionally to the human resource. Okay, if it is something that is demeaning you, something that is affecting your work, maybe someone is constantly frustrating you and you're not able to function, you can take it to your boss, or you can take it to the human resource. But if it is just these other things where you're just struggling here and there, communication and all that, you don't have to tarnish someone's name by gossiping them. Okay, you can take the right professional channel. I hope that has helped you and you'll be able to navigate politics well. But then, assignment for this lesson is have one career goal. Just think about it. What is that one thing you want to achieve, probably in the next 3 years or 5 years for your career? Write it down and ask yourself, what do I need to start doing now to be able to achieve that? If you're just you're in campus and you want to have enough experience before you finish, ask yourself, what where can I volunteer? If you're already a fresh graduate, you're working already, you've already started working, ask yourself, where do I want to see myself in the next 5 years? And then either learn from a mentor in the office, say I will target my manager and start working with them to see how I can, grow. Or even your CEO, if you get at if there are those who are normally very open to mentoring people. So sit down and ask yourself, what do I want to see in the next 5 years, in the next 3 years, and what can I do? So I hope this has been a blessing to you. And my prayer is that God will help you achieve a lot in your career and grow in your career. Yes, God bless you and see you in lesson 4.